Hello masterminds. So today we are going to talk about a very important topic, which is most demanding programming languages. Now people have often asked me what language should I start with, what are the salary expectations, or what are the domains or career paths I can expect in that particular language. So I thought of making a very precise video out of it. These are the three things that you can expect to be explained very precisely: career paths, complexity, and salary expectation. So let's go one by one. So, if you see over here in this slide, these are very generic languages like Java, Python, PHP, C++, C hash, R, Kotlin. So these are very generic languages that you must have heard maybe in your career path, college, or as a professional. Let us look into this report via activeindeed.com job post, which is a very famous site for the job seekers. So it is divided into certain columns, if you see over here, which has different languages and different career paths. For example, data scientist, front-end development, software developer, full stack developer. So if we go one by one, I would not take all of them into consideration, but just a generic one. You can always pause the video and analyze it. So if we talk about data scientist, the Python has the highest score. Then comes the SQL, R, C++. Talking about front-end development, we have JavaScript, CSS, HTML. Now when I'm talking about JavaScript, I'm including all the frameworks and libraries like Next.js or Angular, React, Vue, so everything. And HTML is a markup language that is expected to be known by every developer, independent of which field he or she belongs from. So software developer, we have the Java, Python, C++, and like this we have full stack developer, backend developer, we have C++, Ruby in backend, and likewise. So this diagrammatic report is taken from many websites, include Indeed, Naukri, and many other international websites. So if you see over here, the SQL is at the highest rate, then comes Python, Java, JavaScript. There is always a competition I have seen between JavaScript and Python, although they are dependent also. By dependent I mean like people can use Django and web development, and I have personally always seen a fight between Python and JavaScript in the listing board. That is my personal perspective on all the reports that I have seen. Although we can use Django and certain frameworks of JavaScript in web development, but they also have a distinguished area that both perform very differently. Then comes C++, C hash. So let's go one by one and analyze the top 4 to 5 languages, the salary expectations, the domains, the complexity, everything. First comes a favorite, Python, which all of you must have known, whether you are a developer, whether you work in computer science or not. So talking about career, Python is highly used in web development. The frameworks it has, like Django is the most popular one. In data science, it is almost everywhere used. Machine learning, artificial intelligence, and automation as well. So there is a philosophy in Django. If you are using Django, then you need not to use any other frameworks. It has the entire package that a web developer needs. Flask and Pyramid are also pretty good frameworks. It is comparatively low and beginner friendly. Beginners can start with Python, although I have a different precision on this, I have a different idea on this, which I shall talk about in a different video, because I don't prefer beginners to start with Python, and there are several reasons for it. Talking about the salary, Python has a good medium to high salary, and a person can expect starting from a medium salary. You won't expect a low salary, like salaries start from more than 12 LPA. Talking about JavaScript, which is front-end developers' favorite language. We have client side, we have server side. Client side, we have Angular, React, Next.js. In server, mostly people use Node.js for the integration and everything. Then we have the game development, where we used Phaser and 3.js, which are very popular. Then also mobile applications with React Native. With React Native, you can create applications for both Android and iOS. Talking about complexity, the complexity is always medium to complex. If I talk about easier complexity, then you can start with React, which is the easier thing to start with. But if I talk about Angular, Next.js, they again are complex to understand. But once you understand them, again, it will become very easy for you to understand further advanced concepts. But your base roots should be very clear. Server, game development, these are the complex things. Only React, if I see over here, is a easier thing to understand and implement. The salary is low to high. I have seen low paying jobs as well and high paying jobs as well. Medium, again, medium is always there. So you can expect a low salary when you just start with, and you just want to start with an internship, or you want to start with a business startup. Then you can expect a low, but it can become very high depending on what preference you have, what designation you have. Moving on to Java. Now, if I talk about Java, it is a very widely used language. It is a plethora of logic and functionalities. Career, we have the enterprise level applications, which are huge applications. Then we have Android app development and large scale web applications. We have certain frameworks like Spring, which is a very highly used framework in Java, and Hibernate. Hibernate is basically for ORM, object relational mapping. So it relates your Java classes to the database tables. We can again talk about any particular language in further videos if you want, but this is just a generic video to give you a notice of what is the complexity, salary, and career paths that you can start with. The complexity of Java is again high. No matter what framework you are using, it is a bit complex to understand with a beginner's perspective, but once you understand, I can assure you that you would really like to execute it on your end. The salary is again high. If the complexity is high, it is again adjustable that Java is a high performing language and the salary goes up to the mark, very high. Then comes C++. C++ is a language many people start their career with, or they must have executed in colleges. It is used in game development, system software, high performance software like trading systems, embedded systems, and foundation for many other languages like Python. Talking about the complexity, complex language due to its low level features and memory management. The same thing that you are executing in C++ can take very less time when you are executing the same thing in Python. The salary goes high. Now there is a thing to note in C++. C++ comparatively is not used that much, but whenever it is used, wherever it is used, the salary is always high. So the salary does not relate the demand of the language. Moving on to the SQL, which is a backend language. It is used in database management, data analysis, and backend development. SQL is always integrated with certain other things to be used, which I can talk about in further videos, but SQL is a very generic language, and if you're using NoSQL databases like MongoDB, then it is a different thing. But SQL is a very generic thing to implement. The complexity can go from easy to medium, and the salary is low to high. It always offers competitive salaries. The reason is that all backend developers are expected always to have a generic vision of what SQL is, because many high performing companies use it. Now the thing is that why low salary? Now question might have come to your mind. Now the thing is, I have seen like when you are a fresher and you don't know that much about SQL, companies do hire you. The reason is they give you training, Like I said before, that SQL is used as a combination of many different things. So they give you training, but your salary is low to start with. But it can definitely go very high. So this is the topic of upcoming session that I wanted to brief you about. How to prepare for a programming language to crack any interview. Now when you start with the language, many people don't know what documentations should we follow, what type of videos should we see, how to start with, how to stay current with the language. This is a very important thing. People often ask me, like, 6 to 7 languages, how do you stay current with it? How do you know the latest features about it? So there is a way, there is a fingertip formula that you can follow, which I'll brief you in the current sessions, and how to test your current level, projects to build that you can add in your portfolio, the quality learning resources. I'll also offer you certain resources that are way better than some resources that people are stuck with. So we will follow everything in general in the upcoming sessions. So stay tuned. Thank you.